The following game has no ESRB rating, nor is there any sort of listing for restrictive content found within the game's description on Steam. From what I've played so far, while it is a aircraft combat game, there isn't really any blood or gore, even though there is violence and the fact that you're basically shooting down various aircraft and ground installations. So, were I to guess, if it were to have been given an ESRB rating, I would assume that it would be rated T for teen. However, that is just my opinion and uneducated assumption. So that being said, I would assume anyone under the age of 13 should not be watching this video. You have been warned.
Greetings and salutations. I am Outlier, and I bid you welcome to this channel. Joining me today is, of course, my usual co-hosts, Snowball and Wolf. And today we're returning back to Project Wingman. No, that game we're blacklisted on, remember? So the premise of Project Wingman is that it's an air combat game, and you play as a member of a mercenary air force, or I guess Air Force would be a good description of it, given the fact that your company is multiple groups of air squadrons. So I guess maybe an air group would be better, but I'm not 100% certain on the as to the exact lingo of how the U.S. Air Force divvies up its combat units. So yeah, there's that. But anyway, your mercenary company takes a contract for a nation known as Cascadia, which is part of the former, I guess, Western Canadian area. Well, that's because according to the backstory of the game, which, as far as I've seen, doesn't really get revealed in the missions per se. It's more of a you complete mission 4. Here's 10 extra listings for your document section. And that contains various background listings for all the various factions and as to why they are the factions on the planet as opposed to the old world countries. And near as I can tell, the reason why it's a bunch of factions and not the old world countries is that 100 years prior to the game's setting, an asteroid impacted with the planet and basically Armageddon happened and people rebuilt, and this is after people have rebuilt. So anyway, as I was saying, so you're a member of a mercenary air company, and you have a contract to defend slash retake the nation of Cascadia from a foreign superpower known as the Federation. And the reason why they are in the process of attempting to conquer Cascadia, or have already conquered Cascadia, if the last mission debriefing was any indication, is because Cascadia is home to abundant natural resources, mostly geothermal power and A whole bunch of material that doesn't technically exist in real life, but it's apparently the New Age power source, and I forget its name. But it's highly explosive and highly volatile, or highly volatile and highly explosive, but not quite certain if there's a difference between the two. Because if memory serves, in the first mission, you blew up a storage crate full of it, and a nuke went off. So that's always fun, and if you haven't seen last episode, or it's been a while since I've actually made the first episode of this game, I ended off taking a airstrip in the middle of the Cascadian Wilderness, which my mercenary company and several other mercenary companies that Cascadia is contracted out to will use as a forward operating base. So things are going to get interesting, I guess, because now we have a base of operations to plan and launch attacks from. Which is, I believe, one of the key steps to a successful military campaign. It's right after planning. I watched a lot of documentaries growing up. I should point out, I haven't really played much of this game, or technically any of this game, since the last video. But anyway, so let's continue on from right from where we left off, and as such, this game is of course made by. Thank you again. And that being said, let us begin.
So if we look at the main menu, there's basically two sides of this game. The storyline campaign, which I just described what we did last video, and a roguelike conquest variant, where you just basically control a random aircraft and you conquer territory upon territory, earning resources that allow you to buy better planes for your use, and a bunch of NPC-controlled aircraft and other aerospace vehicles for you to use to conquer even more territory. But if you personally get taken out, you have to start all from the very beginning, with the exclusion of the aircraft that you've purchased personally. While I have been playing this game in between now and last episode, I've been mostly doing the conquest stuff, and I've left the campaign for, well, now. So let's continue on with the campaign.
Listen up. We're about to get started. A lot of mercenaries from around the world have made their way into the country, as I'm sure you've seen. However, Sicario is currently one of the only groups that can throw around enough fighters to aid in the air war. Cascadia's National Guard was quickly scattered and taken out by Federation military forces when we originally tried to force them out of Cascadia. They came without mercy, eliminating more than 30% of our active forces. These last few weeks have been disastrous, and we're on the verge of capitulating into a full-blown guerrilla war. We'd like to avoid this, and because of that, Sicario will be deployed immediately to several of our units currently in need of support.
Hitman team, you will be deployed to an agricultural area to the south. One of the Independence Force's surviving battalions has been driven there by a Federation offensive. Presently, a collection of Allied officers preside over a rather notable amount of manpower. The Federation is currently engaged using air and ground units, so a multifaceted loadout is suggested. You might catch the Federation off guard, however, anticipate retaliation in short order. Launch and lift the siege. If that battalion falls, our forces won't have enough manpower or command to organize again.
So basically, I'm assuming it's a timed-ish mission where we don't have a clock per se, but if we dilly-dally and take too long, the forces we're trying to save will get wiped out. So, let us proceed. And it looked like that there were more ground forces than there were air units. But if we look at... I'm assuming this takes me to the hangar. So these are all the planes that I have access to. Everything that's highlighted is a plane that I've unlocked, and well, these two I haven't. So if I look at the CR point, I'm assuming that's 105 as opposed to IO5. It's classified as an interceptor and contains 3 slots consisting of anti-air missiles and unguided bombs. A lot of unguided bombs, which I can purchase for 11,500 credits, or I can get the SU-20 or the SK-25U, which is an attack craft, and apparently I can get a whole bunch of anti-ground weaponry. A lot of machine gun pods by them looking at it. At least I'm assuming that's what the HGP and CDP and all that stuff stands for. Whereas anything highlighted green is anti-ground armaments, and anything I'm assuming in bold, like right here, is a guided anti-ground armament. Whereas if we look at the, well, any other plane, anything that's flagged orange, yellow, I'm going to go with yellow, is, well, that's more of an orangish yellow color. But anyway, anything flagged this color is an anti-air weapon, and then anything blue is, can be used for both. So they said a mixed weapons loadout, and I should point out that every aircraft that you fly has standard missiles, which can be used for multi-purpose. So even though they said pack a mixed loadout, if I were to say take this aircraft, which seems to be pretty much exclusively anti-ground with a whole bunch of machine guns, I can still I would still have missiles to be able to shoot down other aircraft. Although the standard missiles are kind of more of a backup weapon type deal. I mean, they'll do the job, just not as well as the fancy other kinds of missiles. And then, of course, every aircraft is armed with a cannon, which is your knife in a gunfight type scenario. So I am kind of tempted to actually take one of the new planes. I mean, I can't afford one. You know, I could probably afford to buy both of them. But I do like having a truly mixed loadout, although if there's going to be... so I'm actually tempted to take the FE-4, which would give me high-impact standard missiles in slot 1, a bunch of anti-ground bombs or even a machine gun pods in slot 2, and then anti-air multi-lock weapons in slot 3. Although there's going to be more ground targets than aircraft, and the one thing I don't like about the FE-4 is that it doesn't have any guided anti-ground munitions. So that's why I'm actually tempted to purchase the SK-25U, or even take the SV-37. Yeah, you know what, we're not taking the SV-37, given the fact that it only carries 2 weapon slots, and I mean, I would have access to both multi-lock anti-air missiles and guided anti-ground bomb missiles, but well, actually that's multi-lock anti-ground. So I would have access to both kinds of anti-lock multi-lock weaponry, but I like having a third slot, and since, as I said, there's more ground targets than aircraft, I should be fine with the standard missiles for aircraft. Yeah, so let's actually buy the SKU-25, the SK-25U. And then we'll actually use it. So there's actually multiple generations of multi-lock missiles. At least I think that's what the 2 stands for. And then, of course, there's a standard unguided bomb, unguided rockets, medium burst unguided rockets, and just standard unguided medium rockets. Still have absolutely no idea what the there's going to be anything for a miscellaneous section. Why is there a slidey bar? Oh. So that's what this part is for. So I also have rapid fire gun pods, medium gun pods, heavy gun pods, and canister gun pods, which is basically turns the aircraft into a shotgun. Can't imagine how useful that is going to be in a long distance engagement, but still, you never know. Of course, if you get around to using cannons and other guns, you're no longer in a long range scenario. So let's actually go with, I'll go with the MLG-2 for the first weapons pod. For the second weapons pod, it looks like I just have the standard unguided bombs and unguided rockets again. And again, the standard gun pods. So I'll actually go with the regular MLG-. Well, I mean, if I double up on the same type of missile, what I've discovered is that rather than having two different slots for the same weapon, I'll actually dump both types of ammo into the same weapons pod. So since I have the MLG-2 for the first slot available, if I select it for the third, rather than having something in the third slot, that'll be flagged as empty, and I'll have twice as much ammo for the first slot. So technically, if I go back and select the MLG standard ones for all three special weapon slots, I would basically only have one weapon slot to choose from, but 3 times the amount of ammo. But I like having options, so come on. I'm assuming the rapid fire gun pod is basically a faster machine gun but does less damage. The medium gun pod is, according to this description, basically your standard cannon just doubled, whereas I'm assuming the heavy gun pod trades speed of fire and ammunition amount for heavier damage. So let's actually go with the heavier gun pod because I'm used to that on the FE-4. And for the third weapon slot, I'll go with, because I went with the MLG-2 for the first slot, I'll go with the standard MLG- well, just standard MLGs. And I've yet to see any extra module selection, so I don't know why that's even an option, but it's flares, which are the defensive measure against enemy missiles. So let us launch. And let's see if we can remember how to fly this thing.
Monarch, keep going.
Alright, so since we start on the runway, we have to take off first. We're away. Alright, so this is weapon slot 1, which are just standard missiles. Slot 2 is the MLG-2s. Slot 3 would be the gun pods, and slot 4 would be the standard MLGs. I guess in theory I could have swapped out the second and fourth weapons pods with each other, but you know, I can just simply jump to whichever one I want based off of the which button I press. So let's press the start key to commence, and we go to war again.
Ryan, as far as the eye can see. Hey, Dad, you were the privileged kid. This place put on anything good?
It's been over 10 years, Meg, since we've been in Cascadia. I have no idea. Galaxy to Hitman team. I'm patching you through to the Independence Force comm frequency. Things are getting busy. You're free to engage any Federation signatures starting now.
Weapons and radar all operational, Monarch. Think we can afford to
away.
We're after the mercenaries. You completing? We're about to be overrun. Target down. Junkies. How can we trust them? Cascadian hospitality, everyone. By the dust, I missed it.
Never forgot the local religion, huh? Does your mother?
There's this countrywide interference present. I can't really track anything outside of the immediate AO. Does anyone know what's up with that? That'd be a Solana communication array in the Ator Desert down south. It's damn hard to keep any cloud stable without comms, I'll tell you that much.
Alright, so let's not fly into the ground.
Last mag, Kelly, Sergeant Uni, take the rest of the men and fall back through the storehouses. That's an order.
Let's get some speed so that way I can just simply turn around and shoot them with the big guns. Away. Away again. Artillery fire. One down. Two down. This is a bad idea because I'm literally kissing the trees. That's a plane. Get back here.
Knocked one out. Where's this religion anyway? Some National Guard officer shouldn't be giving us this hard of a time.
The guy from Medical Elizabeth. He was Cascadia's liaison to our peacekeeping forces during Oceania.
Ironic then, now that he's being saved by the mercs. You're keeping a pretty good kid base today, comic. You got it for Monarch spot? You know how she is. Damned overachiever.
That's a missile.
We've got hostiles. Jameson, bring up the sails. Our Air Force is doing a check.
HQ, Winchester on anti-armor. Need assistance ASAP.
They're basically out of anti-armor munitions. I got it. Where are these tanks? Oh, that's a lot of planes. You guys take care of the planes, I'll take care of the tanks.
I'll take care of this one.
Yeah, that actually hit.
Good tone, good tone.
Who's next?
Right on target. Monarch, you're locked on.
Of course I am. Be careful of the ground. The ground is not your friend. I'm taking some bullet hits too. We done loading? you deal with that. And you deal with that by missing it. Okay, cool. Try that now. And you're dead. Okay, so we're reloaded now. Alright, you go away. Alright, so I'm seeing a lot of planes. Bad on that one. That thing's still alive. Okay. Now it's not, and I'm pointed at the ground when I'm doing that. Come on. Get back here. There we are.
Nice kill.
And you're gone. I'm assuming these are bombers. Turn towards him. And now we miss. Now we just fire off rockets to blow it away. Another big plane I can't see because the cloud's in the way. And it is. And it's gone. That's a lot of stuff on fire. Missiles away. And you're gone. Alright, so who's next? Wave 2 is inbound.
Splashed. That should give the rebel troops some wiggle room.
Watch out, Nick. There's a beehive running over.
Missiles away. That's the plan.
Okay, that's a vote of confidence for the mercs. Push the counter-offensive. Round 4 actual targets. Push defensive as too early. Any unit not predisposed to want you to push these coordinates and establish a perimeter.
Alright, I'm not paying attention to what he said. I'm assuming it's something kill everybody.
We have a strategy if the rebels want to play rough. Monarch ready to fire. This is Silverback 1. We are Tiger for new tasking. Redirecting for area saturation in phase line yellow. This is
That's not good.
We're coasting in. All hands. Battle stations.
We got bombers inbound. By the sound of it, very big ones.
We've got a lock.
Make them go on.
Enemy's getting a radar lock.
Missile on the way. Fire through, fire through. Incoming missile. Jake.
A little bit late for that.
Oh no. They're being shot at.
Alright, so those aren't aircraft. Well, those aren't ground targets, those are aircraft. Just don't know if they're the bombers or not.
Hitman 1 locked on. Fox 2.
They're actually helicopters. Huh.
I've got a good tone on him. Guns, guns, guns.
And you're gone. Oh, so the green things are enemies. Come on. And you're gone. Okay, moving right along. Let's handle the priority target first. Or not. That's a bad angle. Still killed him anyway. I'm out of range. Okay. Goodbye. This is a target-rich environment. Gotta make certain I avoid the missiles and the bullets. And there goes all the AA guns. That's a lot of missiles. Keep thinking green are friendly aircraft, and in fact they're not. So that was a hit, but it didn't kill it, so that means it's a big aircraft. We swing around and fire off another volley. Doing that probably means it might actually be a bomber.
Missile is tracking.
gone. Alright, so let's take care of the guy shooting us. Just so that way they stop shooting us. I have a feeling that actually missed. Yes, it did. Yes, we've been penetrating your Kaplan. What's your point? You're dead. I'm sure there's more than just one hole.
Ground asset knocked out.
Let's take out this tank. Apparently tanks take 2 standard missiles,
Ground asset knocked out.
which does kind of make sense.
Enemy's getting radar locked.
Especially considering I'm assuming standard missiles are effectively what the US military refers to as the Sidewinder, which is an heat-seeking anti-air missile. It's just used practically everywhere, so I'm assuming that passes for standard. I thought the missiles can somehow pass clean through the trees without hitting the trees. Of course, then I have to ask myself, why am I complaining about that?
Monarch missile on the way.
And it missed because I fired from the side. And now we chase the rabbit to find out where he is. There you are.
Missile away.
That got him. And he's down.
Sicario AWACS Galaxy to all Independence Force elements. Advised to cease engagement. Federation is disengaging or no factor. Good God, we're alive!
You're welcome.
Think those mercs accept tips? It'll
Sure.
take more than that to convince me. Did any of our forces get a positive ident on that aircraft that broke our line? Affirmative. A crowd. Mercenaries.
What have a feeling this isn't over.
Issuing theater-wide alert. Mercenary forces are now in play by the rebels. Hitman Team, RTB. We're reporting similar successes up and down Cascadia. If Monarch keeps racking up kills like that, we're gonna need a bigger offshore count. Us versus the Federation. Yep, that's what we're doing now. No big deal, right? Right?
Keep your nerves on you. Monarch seems to be playing out just fine. Ain't that right, Lead?
Well, Monarch's Monarch, and that's besides the point. We're home. Been about a decade, but we're back. Fighting the goddamn New World Order.
I mean, we're mercenaries. Today we're fighting against the Federation. Next week we're probably fighting for. That's how mercenaries work.
Good job, Hitman Team. General Elizabeth reports your tactical support pretty much saved his men, and a respectable amount of firepower for the Independence Force. Combined with deployments by the rest of Sicario and other mercenaries, we've been brought back from the brink and have stabilized our territory. Being able to maintain proper military formation and territory means we'll be able to wage this war the right way. Stand by for further taskings and get some rest.
Alright, so I'm guessing that last line about the Federation now knows that mercenaries are fighting for the Cascadian Liberation Front means that they're either going to deploy either A, better troops, B, their own mercenaries, or C, their better troops which are specifically designed to combat mercenary units. Which means things are probably going to get a lot harder for us, or I guess D, do covert ops to take out all the mercenaries. Or E, just simply try to offer them more money, which sometimes does happen, I believe. I don't know, I've never actually been a mercenary in real life, so... I mean, all the good mercenary units that I've played as a part of video games usually follow the rule of make a contract, adhere to the contract, get paid from contract. Once contract is over, move on. That's why I said today we're fighting against the Federation. Next week we could be fighting for. But anyway, I took out a whole bunch of stuff. More than I'm probably willing to count. But it's a whole bunch of stuff anyway, so let us move on.
In truth, we didn't think we'd need you mercenaries at all. But, unfortunately, what we hoped was going to be a relatively bloodless eviction of the Federation from our homeland has become an impossibility.
Presidia, Cascadia's capital, is falling. This afternoon, the first fully fledged Federation military units have come in from out of country to reinforce their garrisons here. Among them, a massive Federation naval fleet has secured a foothold in the capital. Independence Force Command planned this rebellion to have been timely enough to seize, hold, and place defensive positions in key territories within the country before their reinforcements came.
I'm guessing that didn't happen.
Fortunately, with the new wave of Federation reinforcements, Presidia's main urban centers have been lost, and we can't afford to lose any more manpower at the moment. A tactical retreat has been declared. Sicario, you, alongside other Allied forces, will cover an immediate evacuation of our troops still holding out on the ground. By land, by air, and by sea, we are extracting from Presidia. Protect the evacuation moving out of the AO by raising hell and taking out any Federation units that are pressing on them. If we lose any more men, we might not be able to continue fighting against the Federation.
Presidia is where the fighting started in Cascadia. However, we refuse to have it be where it ends. Not like this. Hitman team, we expect much of you in this coming time.
Of course, because we're the player group. Well, the leader is. I can't really give orders to the wingmen, so... Nice if I could, but this game isn't made by Nova Logic. So anyway, we now have two other aircraft, the FC-16, which only has 2 weapon slots and I would say more unguided bombs, but it is a mix of guided anti-ground missiles and air missiles, as well as high-impact multi-purpose. Now, if only this thing had a 3rd weapon slot where it could get high-impact missiles in one, MLAA in another, and MLAG in a 3rd. But I can't, so moot point. I also get access to the MiG-31, which is also an interceptor, and it looks like it's primarily anti-air unit. Well, yeah, primarily an anti-air. It's like solely an anti-air unit. Although I do have another slot for more standard missiles. It's basically standard missiles, semi-autonomous anti-air missiles, and then 2 things for multi-locks. I would say I was surprised by this plane and found it useful, but it's predominantly an anti-ground unit, so since I'm going to be fighting more anti-air stuff than anti-ground, it's probably not a good idea to take it. Although I am tempted to go with the CR-105, but it doesn't have any guided anti-ground missiles. Although it does have standard MLAAs. still tempted to just simply up and take the FE4. But without guided ground units, without guided ground munitions, unless I'm fighting solely anti-air, I'm not comfortable taking unguided bombs. Mainly because unguided bombs are hard to aim. Although I do have standard missiles and standard multi-purpose missiles, and I can always take the multi-grouped bombs. But you know what? Let's try the F-16. Let's try the F-16. I don't think it's a two-seater, so Prez may have to stay home. Alright, so I'll go with the MLAG in one slot, in the first slot, and the MLAA in the second. Even though I could get high impact in the first slot. Multi-lock seems to be useful. So let's go.
Presidio, on the nose, Sicario. Seems like the tactical retreat is in full swing.
I never noticed how big this entire city was. It must be a nightmare down there.
I could have lived my entire life within those city limits. Give me the sky any day. This
Okay.
is evacuation defense units to anyone on this net. Please respond. We have heavy attacks along our evacuation routes and are in need of immediate assistance. That's our number, Sicario. Let's get to business. Hitman team, Sicario is spread out over the AO, so you are our busybodies. I'm highlighting more distress calls, so hit them ASAP. Other HQ advises that we do not pass into the port section of the city. The Federation has a battle group moored there. I'm getting requests for air support all up and down the board. Hitman, I'm pinging the first for you now. Get there before the evacuation line gets cut. You sure you got all IFF 100% clear? I don't always cash on collateral. You do your job, and I'll do mine, Hitman 2.
Alright, so the guys are flying rather close. And I don't want to waste the multi-locks on one fighter, so... Standard missiles it is, and you're gone. Let's say that was a bad angle, but it blew him up anyway, so...
Conducting the tactical retreat. All actions report to my call sign and we'll get you home safely. Control back yours if you have to. And if you have to abandon your vehicle, torch it.
That actually sounds kind of fair.
Take it out, guys. Right, any civilians doing their best. We're passing out to the defense force we can.
That's not good. I think I'm actually flying straight up with that one. Goodbye. Okay, those are actually boats. Get what they paid for. And they paid quite a bit.
Fox 2, Fox 2. Nice shot. I take it in. Civilians should be evacuated from this sector. Anyone out here should have no business being around. Free engagement.
That's not a good sign. guessing the big red line is the port.
Aggressively while we still have the air superiority. We're using this time to sabotage roads and railways out of the city. Evacuation operations are going well. Shipper's workshop, flyboy, all to mine. Just a recommendation, General. Make sure your aircraft is in optimal condition. Confirmed enemy kill. Well, damn militiamen are complicating the battle space. Someone get a read on who they are. Enemy's locking eye. Good zone.
Missiles away.
I'm getting SMS calls from within downtown Presidio. What should I tell them? We can't do anything for them. Tell them to dissipate and evacuate where any means possible. Tell them I'm sorry. Not be all.
Alright, I'm not paying attention to what's going on. Who's wild boar again? Get back here.
Stand by. We're routing a solution to you now. It'll be too late by then.
Of course, your angle's chronically bad. And so we go using the knife in the air gunfight, which ironically is the gun. And you're dead. Moving on.
I'll take care of this one. Let's go, we got police. All units be advised that Presidio police forces are experiencing infighting. Engage only if necessary.
Oh, so now they're going off against the police forces.
Positive hits, he's going down.
Alright, we'll just take care of whatever those two things are.
Locked on.
Alright, well, the anti-ground is still loading, so... He's actually out of range for the standard missiles.
All Cascadia National Guards who remain points opposite
Whoa.
evacuation. Be advised to turn to assigned frequencies to maintain radio security. Monarch, you're locked on. Command, we can't hit our targets. Those birds in the air are keeping us back. Copy all. Proceed as planned. What kind of answer is that?
We have absolutely no idea how to fight the problem. Yes.
21 on this net. We've secured Technoid Square, but we have incoming hostiles. If we take this place, we can direct evacuation chopper traffic here. Use the Nexus cover. We can't afford to draw fire towards homes. I'll take care of this one.
Stand still so I can shoot you.
Someone's got guns on me.
Alright, so in case anybody's interested, if you're trying to shoot anything with the gun on an aircraft, you can't basically aim for where the front of the aircraft is, where the bullets are currently coming out of. You have to aim for this little sun icon thingy. So once the aircraft gets over there, that's when you open fire, and the bullets should technically hit. Problem is getting the aircraft to the sun. That's how you kill something with a knife in an aircraft gunfight. Moving right along, who's next? Oh, there's more. Goodbye. Or not. Took one out. Where did all these planes suddenly come from? That was a hit, but it wasn't a kill. I'm glad you carry like 100 some odd missiles. Probably 200 missiles. That killed him. Not quite certain from what, but it said destroyed, so I'll take it. Okay, that missile probably should have hit my plane. I was not turning into it. Where are you? There you are. Good luck, yes. Bad angle. Unfortunately, the gun sight doesn't show up unless you're ridiculously close. Of course, at the range where it doesn't show up, it probably wouldn't be accurate anyway, so. Get back here. Of course, when in doubt, missiles always work. Who's next? See what that kills. And the answer is nobody. Okay.
Monarch ready to fire.
I should probably point towards the target.
Fox 2.
That misses. That should.
And one splash 1.
It's actually splashed several, but I'm not keeping counts right now, so. Who's next? Seriously, who's next? That everybody? Damn close to the red wall of death. Oh!
Stand by. Sicario, launch contacts inbound. Looks like an airship picket. Ignore us. Damn. We're totally outgunned. Splash 1.
I'm guessing the shiny stuff coming out the back isn't for decorative purposes. That is a good question, actually. Because we are flying over a city, and cities are usually full of people. And that one dies. Wasn't me. Oh, I'm out of anti-air missiles. Or multi-lock anti-air missiles. So, I guess I do this the old-fashioned way. I don't think I was actually locked on to that. Another missile. Missiles away. It's a hit. It's rather far out. Now we should focus on the big planes.
Hitman 1 confirmed. Cleared for guns. Hitman 1 is down.
As I fly into the plane. I guess we're starting this from the very beginning. Alright, so we now know that it's a target-rich environment. And since it is a target-rich environment, where's the thing that's got a lot of... Okay, so it's a target-rich environment for aircraft, and I ran out of multi-lock anti-air missiles, so we're actually going to go with the CR-105. As much as I don't like taking unguided bombs, well, I'm not actually going to be taking unguided bombs. Everything is going to be a multi-lock anti-air missile, and if I have to worry about ground targets, then I guess I just go standard. Because there were those couple planes, not planes, ships, and a few other, I think, ground targets that I fired upon. Always flying into things.
Presidia, on the nose, Sicario. Seems like the tactical retreat is in full swing.
I never noticed how big this entire city was. It must be a nightmare down there.
I could have lived my entire life within those city limits. Give me the sky any day.
Right.
This is the evacuation defense units to anyone on this net. Please respond.
I already do not like this plane. Mainly because I can't see what's directly in front of me. Let's try this again. Alright, so we're not taking this one. What was the plane that I had before? No, it was the multi-lock ground. I was going to say, I could have sworn I had one plane that I had multi-lock standard ones and then second generation ones, but that's anti-ground missiles. I mean, I could try the MiG-31. It was predominantly anti-air that I was fighting. Could again go back to the FE-4. Have multi-lock anti-air in slots 1 and 3 and the gun pods in 2. I already stated I don't like the CR-105. Could also go with the SV-37. Yeah, we're not touching the MiG-21. Alright, so let's buy the new bird. And just stick multi-lock missiles in both ports. So that should give me twice as much ammo as I had before. And there hopefully isn't a large metal beam directly in front of my face. There isn't a large metal beam directly in front of my face.
Seems like the tactical retreat is in full swing.
I never noticed how big this entire city was. It must be a nightmare down there.
I could have lived my entire life within those city limits. Give me the sky any day. This is the evacuation defense units to anyone on this net. Please respond. We have heavy attacks along our evacuation routes and are in need of immediate assistance. That's our number, Sicario. Let's get to business.
Apparently I can fire...
Sicario is spread out over the AO, so you all are busybodies. I'm highlighting more distress calls, so hit them ASAP. Rebel HQ advises that we do not pass into the port section of the city. The Federation has a battle group moored there. I'm getting requests for air support all up and down the board. Hey man, I'm making the first for you now. Get there before the evacuation line gets cut. You sure you got
Yes, boss.
100% clear? I don't always cash on collateral. You do your job and I'll do mine, Hitman 2.
Now I just need to be in range. I mean, I have 66 multi-lock anti-air missiles, but it looks like I also fire 6 of them at once. So I basically have 11 volleys. One down.
This is General Elizabeth. We'll be conducting a tactical retreat. All our troops report to my call sign and we'll get you home safely. Cut off back yards if you have to. And if you have to abandon your vehicle, torch it. It's on the way.
Of course, I targeted the farthest plane away from my current position.
Any civilians near underground? We'll pass them off to the independents first if we can.
Get back here, you.
I've lost engine power. It's on the way. To all units left in the area.
And goodbye.
If you need sword choppers, the call sign is Chesterfield. The enemy doesn't have substantial area at the moment, so call them in as necessary. We have troops still left in the city, don't we? They stayed behind to cover our retreat, so let's not waste their sacrifice.
Alright, ankle's bad on this one. Not so much now. That's an AA emplacement.
Exterminate with extreme prejudice. We can't allow any rebel to even think about returning.
That's a bad angle.
We have reports of parts
Still hit him though.
fighting forces. Confirmed. We have a lot of mercenary IFFs in the air. Some registered, some not. Nice to know border control is doing good work. Ground asset knocked out. We're investigating now. Remain on station.
There goes one anti-air emplacement. Yeah, piss.
Civilians should be evacuated from the sector. Anyone out here should have no business being around. Free engagement. MI6. Tell stories about this mission, ladies and gents.
Fall of Presidia. Better make my place in it.
Everybody knows that the history books are written by the victors. And we haven't lost yet, so I guess we keep at it.
Aggressively when we still have the air superiority. We're using this time to sabotage roads and railways out of the city. Evacuation operations are going well. You do your job, Flyboy. I'll do mine. Just a recommendation, General. Missile on the way. Just like that, covering your perimeters.
Alright, I got attacked by an AA gun.
Complicating the battle space. Someone get a read on who they are. Fires missile. Engage defensive. Search and destroy. Outboard actual. I'm getting SMS calls from women in downtown Presidia. What should I tell them? We can't do anything for them. Tell them to dissipate and evacuate by any means possible. Tell them I'm sorry.
Okay, so Wild Boar is the guy in charge.
Not be all.
I got that.
We can't even see where they're coming from. What are we doing about those planes?
Getting shot by them, that's
Getting a
what.
solution to you now. It'll be too late by then.
That's a bad angle. Still hit him though.
I can't take another hit like that. Prioritize armored units and specialists and early evacs. We won't make it long without them. Launch missile. Not like this.
Well, I'm actually out of range, so... No, I'm not.
Cascadia National Guards who remain loyal to the Pacific Federation. Be advised to turn to assigned frequencies to maintain radio security. I'll take care of this one. Command, we can't hit our targets. Those birds in the air are keeping us back. Copy all. Proceed as planned. What kind of answer is that?
That hit, but one of them missed. So.
We have incoming hostiles. If we take this place, we can direct evacuation chopper traffic here. Use the Nexus cover. We can't afford to draw fire towards homes. It is right on me.
I still got 50 missiles, but multiple airships will eventually appear. That was a bad angle on that one. Just to get it back to even. Where are you? There you are. That's a different guy. Okay, come on. Now we chase the rabbit. We've chased the rabbit. Now we watch as the rabbit goes by. And this rabbit has teeth. You know what? You're not the only one who has teeth. I also chew my food. Not quite certain what relevant that has in an air battle, but okay. Get back here.
Monarch, the enemy's locking onto you.
I would say, I wonder if real-life air battles are like this, but real-life planes can't carry this many missiles. Missiles away. And you're dead. Alright, next wave, or are we good? And now more enemies auto-generate.
Stand by. Sicario, launch contacts inbound. Looks like an airship picket. Ignore us. Damn, we're totally outgunned.
Destroyer console will destroy your area. Roll on your current heading and drive the marks out of the airspace.
Missiles away. Let's try not to fly into this one this time.
Something's incoming. I can't see it.
It's missiles.
Almost 5 naval ships over these things. Anyway, concentrate down.
Are we good to dump these things over the capital?
Not like we got a choice.
And you're dead.
This is Signal 1-6 to command. Don't we have the peacekeeping squadron on town? Negative. They're not cracking into a few days. Make do with what we have. The rebels are overrunning. We're mopping up the remaining resistance in town. We're still getting hammered by enemy air. Copy all. We'll send reinforcements as necessary. There they go. Good separations.
Yes, but the question is, will they hit? It's 2, I think.
We had an IFV platoon roll through it, so we're pulling back.
Another air cruiser down.
Going defensive.
Guess that one's dead. Say, where is the closer fighter? Send out another one, hopefully take out the cruiser. Or not. Send out another one to take out the cruiser. And another one. And now it dies. Alright. Training includes stand still so I can shoot you. Because hopefully they'll remember that part. It's again the no-go line. I think we lost somebody. Looks like there are a bunch of targets out this way. Alright, we should not get lower. But I should go faster. There's an air cruiser out that way.
You've got a good block.
I want the good missiles for the big gun. Well, the big target, I should say. Or, you know, I can just shoot everybody. That hit one person.
Enemy aircraft shut down.
Get back here so I can shoot you.
Hitman 1 confirmed.
Missiles away. And you're gone. Apparently one of my missiles missed. I'm quite certain of what. Tell me this is the last guy. You have several by the looks of it. Let me add two more.
We've done all we can, Sicario. RTB to Rose Tower. It wasn't supposed to be like this.
It never is.
Thanks to you, casualties sustained during the retreat were minimized. We've lost contact with our final units within Presidia, so we can only assume the worst. We just have to remember their sacrifice to cover our escape. During the evacuation, we airlifted some of our most experienced fighters, along with Federation defectors and civilians who wanted to join up with us after seeing what the Federation did to Presidia. We're at the brink right now, and losing the capital was a blow, but thanks to you, we can survive this. Stand by for your next op orders.
Alright, so had a minor setback, if you can call losing the capital minor, but then again, the capital isn't a place. It's a, well, I mean, it is a place, but it's the place where the leadership operates out of. And so long as the leadership operates out of somewhere, you have a capital. So, could continue on to the next mission. I am curious to see what new planes they give me and what the next one's about. But, that last mission took quite a bit of time, especially given the fact I had to do it twice because I forgot that I'm not flying a missile, but I'm flying a plane that carries missiles. Although it is one way to make certain all your missiles impact the target. But on that note, I'm going to call it here.
Everybody stay safe from the plague, and have a good day.